In this video, we're going to add gravity to our platformer game for Pygame and Python. Hey guys, John Lauder here from Codemy.com, and in the last video, we added 2D vector movement to our platformer game so Aspen can move side to side. In this video, we want to introduce gravity so she can fall down and eventually die if she hits the water. Now, if you understood the kinematics from the last video, gravity is going to be a piece of cake, much easier, much quicker, and it should be a lot of fun. So let's head over to our code. I'm using the Sublime Text Editor and the Git Bash terminal as always. And as always, you can find a link to the code in the pinned comment section below, as well as a link to the playlist with all the other videos in this Pygame series. So check that out if you haven't so far. And if you like this video and want to see more like it, be sure to smash the like button below, subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up for the YouTube algorithm, and check out Codemy.com where I have dozens of courses with thousands of videos that teach you to code. Use coupon code YouTube50 to get 50% off lifetime memberships, all my courses, videos, and books for a one-time fee, which is insanely cheap. Okay, so I've got the file we've been working on in the last video. I've just renamed it Aspen_platform4. It was 3 in the last video. And the first thing I want to do is come down here and move Aspen. So right now we've got her down here at the bottom in our tile map. So I'm going to take this 4 and change it into a 0. And let's put her up at the top here. I don't know, somewhere around here. Go ahead and save this and run it just to see if that worked. We're going to be dealing with gravity and we want her to fall. So we're just going to start with her at the top since we haven't built in the ability to jump yet. So let's head back over to our terminal. I'm in my C/games directory. My virtual environment is turned on. And let's run Python Aspen_platform4.py. And when we do, we see Aspen is now up here at the top. She can move, but not fall. Now her ears are getting cut off there. We might need to resize her a little bit. Maybe we'll do that later. Not that important right now. But okay, she's up here at the top. Now we want to introduce gravity so she falls whenever she walks off the platform here. So, all right. Actually, this is pretty easy. So you'll notice we have our tile groups. This is our grass tile group and our water tile group. And we want to, well, first we want to designate where she is. Is she on a grass tile group? Is she on a water group? Where is she? And in order for Aspen to be able to sort of have a collision with those things, we need to pass them into the Aspen class here, right? So let's see, let's come down here. And this is where we sort of instantiate the Aspen class. And we're passing in the X and Y coordinate. Remember up here, we're passing in these X and Y coordinates. We also now want to pass in these tile groups. So the grass tile group and the water tile group. So we can just go grass_tile_group and water_tile_group. So now that we have these, we need to account for them in the player class itself. So we've got an X, we've got a Y. We also want a, let's say, grass_tiles and water_tiles. You could call it grass tile group or water tile group, but grass tiles and water tiles is fine. So, okay, we've got them now. We need to sort of define our grass and water. So let's just go self.grass_tiles equals that grass_tiles that we just piped in right there, right? And then also self.water_tiles is going to equal our water_tiles. Okay, that looks good. Okay, so now we need to add our gravity. So let's come down here to our kinematic constants, and we've got our horizontal acceleration and horizontal friction. Those are left to right. Whenever Aspen moves left to right, we also now want gravity. So let's go self.vertical_acceleration. Now, it's kind of a weird thing to call it. This is gravity, right? Why don't we just call it gravity or vertical gravity? Well, I want to kind of keep the same convention of horizontal and vertical. And if you think about it, gravity is a vertical thing. It's up and down. It's pushing down on you from above. So it's a vertical acceleration. And the way gravity works, maybe, don't quote me on this, but I think as you fall, does your gravity increase? You accelerate? I'm not sure, but maybe. Anyway, we're going to call it vertical acceleration. And we're going to set this equal to some amount. So let's just say 0.5. And then, this is just our gravity. Okay, so we can bop that up over if we want to sort of differentiate or leave it like that, whatever. So we've now defined our gravity, but now we have to actually add it to the game, right? So in our update function, we have this self-acceleration, and by default, it's set up to 0, 0. And remember, these are our vectors, and our vectors are X and Y. Vertical is Y, up and down. So to start out, our player is not moving left or right and not moving up or down, 0. Well, gravity always exists. Even if you're not moving, gravity is still pushing you. So even when you first start, there's still going to be gravity. So we need to kind of add our gravity. So our gravity, we know we've just defined, is this. So if we pop that in there, that should work. So let's go ahead and save this and just see what we got here. So head back over here and run this guy again. Here, she started up at the top, and you can see as soon as I let my finger off the mouse, boom, she falls down. So it's popping up on my other screen, and she starts to fall immediately when the game starts. So it's kind of hard to see. Let me see if I can run this again, if I can catch this faster. Okay, that's a little bit faster. I've caught it. She started at that platform, and then zoom, she just spins right on down. Because we haven't told the game to, hey, account for the grass or the water. So we need to do that. So let's head back over here, clear this screen. And we do that in our update function. We need to check for collisions. And we've checked for collisions lots in this playlist. And we're going to kind of sort of do it the same way. We're going to use sprite collide, right? So let's say check for collisions with grass, right? So let's create a variable. It could be anything we want. Let's call it, I don't know, touched platforms. I don't know. Or collided platforms, maybe. Whatever. This is going to equal a pygame.sprite collide. And then we want to pass in self. We also want to see, are we colliding with the grass tile? So that's the self.grass_tiles. And remember, when they collide, in the past, we've had like games where Aspen collided with the food or something, and then the food disappeared because she ate it. Well, we don't want our grass to disappear when they collide, when they touch. So we'll set that equal to false there. So this is going to return a Python list of tiles. Every time we touch something, it's going to add it to that list, right? So say a list of tiles we touched, right? So we can now run some logic to see, hey, did we touch something, right? So let's say if touched underscore platforms, and this is basically saying if touched platforms equals true. If we haven't touched anything, it's going to be false. It's going to be a 0. There's going to be nothing in that Python list, and that will evaluate to false. So if there's something in it, that will evaluate to true, and this logic will account for that. If it's true, it's basically saying, what do we want to happen? Well, we want to change our position. So let's go self.position, but we just want to change the Y position. Remember, we have an X and a Y. X is left to right, Y is up and down, right? So we want to change the Y position, and we want to put Aspen on top of that grass. We don't want her to fall through it. So every time we touch a piece of grass, we want to sort of keep her position from falling and make sure it's right above that tile. So that would be our touched underscore platforms. And that's going to be the 0th item in that list. That's like the last thing she touched. And we want to put her at the rect.top of that thing, right? So, all right. Now, we also need to change her velocity. We don't want her to be falling. We want her to be sitting, right? So self.velocity, but just for the Y velocity, right? We want to set that equal to 0. So, okay, let's save this and see what we got here. Come back over here and run this guy. And there we go. She's at the top. If we start to move her, she falls to the next one. We get, really run over. She goes to that one. Hey, what happens when I hit the water? Oh, she just falls through forever, right? Well, that's not great, but also kind of what we want, right? So, all right, let's really, all right, let's try again. Let's see if we can get all the way over. We don't have a jump function yet, but we can really kind of, she fell off the other end. We don't have a jump function yet, but she can really kind of, that's a little tricky. Oh, she just ran right over that one, and she falls through. Okay, so this is working the way we want. Now we set the gravity. Well, we'll look at the gravity in a second, but now let's deal with this water really quickly. So we could just run another quick logic statement here. Let's say check for collisions with water. And it's going to be the same deal, right? So let's go if, and we don't have to be cute with this. We could just go if pygame.sprite collide of self with a self.water underscore tiles. Then again, we don't want to kill the water tile. We don't want to have it disappear. But if we do collide with water, what do we want to do? Well, Aspen's obviously going to die if she touches the water. That's the whole game. But we're not ready to build out that whole functionality in this video. So for now, let's just print something to the screen that says you died. And this won't print it to the screen. It'll print it to the terminal. But at least it'll make sure we have the functionality built in and see if it's working or not. So let's go ahead and save this and run it, see if that worked. So we've got Aspen up here. Boop, boop. She falls all the way through. Now when we close this, you died, because as she's falling through, it keeps printing it out as it keeps colliding. So, okay, that looks good. So obviously in the future, we'll change this to have her die, and then the game will reset and we'll do a whole thing. But for now, we'll just have it print out you died. All we really need is the mechanism to show that we've touched water, and that's what this is right here. So gravity, pretty fun, not too difficult, a lot easier to sort of wrap your brain around than all this kinematic stuff we looked at in the last video. But also, let's look at this. If we can play around with this, let's change this to 0.15. That's less gravity, less force pushing down from above. Well, if we run this guy, now when we come off, you can see, oh, very slowly. Very slowly. Right? And you'll notice Aspen is kind of bopping around a little bit. You can sort of see a slight jiggle there. When we have less gravity, something to do with sprite collide. Because we're going so slow, it's not quite touching. I'm not sure. We can fix that if we really want to. Let's see. Come back over here. And let's go down here to our self-dot position, touch platform, rect top +1. That should bop her up just a little bit. If we run this now, let's see. Okay, that little jiggle seems to be gone. She's not shaking around a little bit on the floor. If you get that little jiggle because your gravity's not enough, just add one to there and that should fix that. Whatever. I'm going to go ahead and take our gravity back up to 0.5. We want to get crazy. Let's say 1.5. What does that do? You're going to fall much faster. Shoom! Shoom! She just shoom, really fast falls. Oh. So in my mind, that's a little too fast, but, absolutely play around with these numbers and get it, however you want. Same thing with this friction. Remember, we played around with the friction in the last video to make the sliding left and right as she moves when she stops, more or less. So gravity is another thing. You could play around with the number to get it just where you want it for the difficulty level of your game, however you want it. That's all there is to it. So that's gravity, super easy, lots of fun, and we are moving right along with this game. Now we just need a jump function, really. So I think we'll probably look at that in the next video, and should be fun. So that's all for this video. If you liked it, be sure to smash the like button below, subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up for the YouTube algorithm, and check out Codemy.com where you can use coupon code YouTube50 to get 50% off lifetime membership. So that's access to all my courses, over 60 courses, thousands of videos, and the PDFs of all my best-selling coding books. Join over 200,000 students learning to code just like you. My name is John Elder from Codemy.com, and I'll see you in the next video.